All right, welcome to the conversation on the TYT network. Eric Olsen's joining me now. Eric is one of the folks that I met while running for Congress. Uh, People with amazing stories that are doing amazing things. So Eric was running for state assembly in the 36th district, and that's in the obviously within the district that I was running in, 25th congressional district. So running for state office. And on the campaign trail, something really interesting happened to him even before I joined the race. So first of all, welcome, Eric. Good to have you on the
Thanks for having me.
Yeah, no problem. So when you first started to run, Eric, you started giving speeches about the effect of perhaps money in politics. What did you say in those speeches, Eric?
Well, basically, I was saying that we're constantly being told that we need to learn how to compromise. But in California, we have a supermajority, so we're not compromising with Republicans to pass legislation. So who are we compromising to? And it turns out to donors, campaign contributors. And so my message was, if we're going to change politics in California, we have to change campaign finance law. And a lot of people in the party didn't like that.
So I'm going to get to that in a second, but I'm amazed by both the party reaction and the main reason why we're doing this interview. And I think the viewers will be amazed by it. But I'm also amazed by the media reaction. So number one, your point, Eric, is, how should I put this? Indisputable. When you have a supermajority, there's absolutely no reason to compromise with other parties. In fact, the voters made it clear, no, we want you guys in charge completely and
Right.
go do the thing that we voted for you to do and that you promised. And so obviously, and so there's no need for compromise in that sense. I'm not saying that they should go wild and go nuts and go beyond the mandate of the voters, but you should at least do the mandate of the voters. And yet they are constantly pausing and compromising. And obviously that leads to the idea that perhaps it's the donors. So when you gave that speech and you're running for office, what happened next?
Well, one of the first things I did when I announced my candidacy was to try to reach out to the other candidates and local leaders and party officials, because I had full intention of just playing nice, that we were going to point out these problems within the party and things were going to be great, right? But that's not how it happened. I told my story before about when I met with Christy Smith. She had told me that that message was offensive to her, that you have to be able to take money from industry to go do good things with that money. That message caused the Speaker of the Assembly to double down and max out contributions to my opponent, Jonathan Ervin. They didn't want, in fact, I had to go to several lunches with party officials where they would tell me to stop talking about it.
So I want to talk about that too. So look, guys, I don't want you to get the wrong idea. Our races are over. My race with Christie's over. Eric's race is over. And we didn't win. Neither did Jonathan Ervin, by the way. It was somebody with bigger name recognition, former incumbent there that won the primaries now in the general election. So this isn't about any of that. It isn't about a particular political agenda in a particular race. It's just an amazing story. So in Christie, and I said this during the run too, it's not that she's extraordinary. The problem is that what she said to you is rather ordinary in Democratic politics. Mm-hmm. Hey, Eric, don't talk about the corruption and how we're compromising with donors because other Democrats find that personally offensive. Now, Eric, if you had told me that, I wouldn't find it personally offensive at all. One, I would find it perfectly logical. And second of all, I wouldn't be bothered because I'm not compromising with donors. So in a sense, isn't what she said to you prove your point exactly?
Oh, absolutely. It proved my point. In fact, I was kind of dumbfounded that she even said that to me, because that's basically admitting that, yeah, I take corporate money and I do corporate things.
Did she mention the Speaker of the Assembly there as someone who was also concerned about you saying this out loud?
Yeah, I was told specifically that if I don't change my messaging, he'll make sure that I go nowhere. And then at another time, I was told, even if I do make it to the assembly, that he'll put me in a corner and I'll get the bad assignments and he'll tell the other members not to work with me. So it's just basically all the same threats that AOC gets.
As progressives, we've seen this so many times, and we might not be as amazed by it, but it's like the mainstream media gaslights us in a way that we're like, we have to feel like we have to prove this case overwhelming. And in your case, it was so stark. It's so obvious. By the way, the media is still largely not covering this story at all outside of us. So the guy you're referring to is Anthony Rendon. He's one of the most powerful people in all of California. But Eric, did you ever mention Anthony Rendon in any of your speeches?
No. I think towards the end, when I realized that he had made his preference known to all the unions and that I had wasted all my time and money trying to get endorsements that I was never going to get because they had no intention of ever endorsing anybody without the party's approval anyway, then I kind of got upset. And towards the end, I started mentioning his name. But before all that happened, not once. And I think just pointing out that this is what the party is doing and this is the party's policy, they take that personally. Christie took it personally. Anthony took it personally.
Yeah, it's kind of a weird thing that when you say, hey, isn't it a problem that folks are compromising with corporations and their donors, that somebody, and you never mention the guy's name, and he jumps out and says, that's it. You're never, I'm going to make sure you don't get elected. It's like if somebody was given a random speech about bank robbers, and I was like, that's it. I'm so personally offended that I'm going to make sure that you never get anywhere. Wait, I didn't mention you. You just basically admitted you're a bank robber.
Yeah.
Right?
So I gave this speech to the Progressive Caucus at the party convention, and then I used that speech as an ad. And the day I put that ad out, he donated max contributions to my opponent.
I mean, look, I don't know anything that's more of a stark admission than that. And so, and then at that point, Eric, you got approached one more time, didn't you, with another message of like, hey, you're not getting it. We do corruption in this party. You got to stop talking about it.
Yeah, but my message to them was, I do get it. And I'm not going to stop talking about it. They said to me, why can't you focus on a positive message? Because behind the scenes, you made sure that I didn't get any endorsements or any money. I had no funds to put out a positive message. The only thing I could do is fight back. And I do understand that I'm upsetting him, but I don't care because it is what it is. And I'll call it out on the floor of the assembly as well.
Right. And that's why the second time you got the message, they said, well, even if you do win, we're going to make sure that you have as little power as possible in the assembly. I want to remind people, this is not the opposing party. This is the same party, the party you're in. Yeah. So, Eric, I don't know if you're comfortable sharing names or not, and I'm not sure that it's important to the story, but who was the second messenger? Like, and where did they, who did they say they were bringing the message from?
Well, it was from one of the regional reps, right? So they're in charge of overseeing the election process for all the delegates in a specific district. And she travels back and forth between our district and Sacramento, and she has, personal ties with Anthony Rendon. So her name was Diana Love.
And so now Rendon, given that he is one of the most important political figures in the state of California, which has an economy that's the fifth largest economy in the world if it was a nation, well, I'm sure that the press was beating down your door once you told the story publicly just to expose this, because it's an amazing story. Did that happen?
No. They want continued access to those in the establishment. They don't care to have access to me. They don't want to ruff any feathers, right? It's
amazing and dispiriting that we don't have a functioning press in this country. And we, on the left wing, want a good press. We want a strong press. We don't think it's the enemy of the people. We think it helps the people to find out more information. But unfortunately, the press we have now cares more about access to power and serving power than actually challenging power and bringing out these amazing stories. So, Eric, you're a progressive. Your website was ericfor36.com. Are you keeping that website, and are you thinking about running again?
Yeah, I'm definitely going to run again. They say all politics is local. So right now we're looking at some local elections that are going to happen in November. I think the biggest lesson we learned is that without name recognition, you don't win. And if you don't have name recognition, you need money to buy that. So we're going to keep this progressive message going. Before my campaign in the Antelope Valley, nobody here ever ran as a progressive. And so we're going to take that message and keep rolling with it. But we have to find out a way to raise money.
Yeah. And especially when they turn the unions against you. I'm just talking about in a political context. Then you got no access to money. You got no access to volunteers. And I'm talking about other people, not me, because I'm lucky I had, a larger audience to begin with and a base that gave me money. But if you don't have name recognition and you don't have that base and they turn the unions and the press against you, good night, Irene. And so that's what local progressives have to deal with all throughout the country. So we've got to find a way to unite and to work together to make sure that we can actually fix the system. And that's what Eric's trying to do. So we appreciate it. And Eric, we appreciate you sharing this important story with us.
Yeah, well, the good news, I think, is we're moving the party left a little bit at a time. And look, no progressive should feel defeated right now because the fight has really just begun for us. And we are winning some battles.
That's exactly right. And the reason Eric talked about running again is, as we saw with Marie Newman, and I've talked to you guys a lot about this, you build up name recognition, and the second time you run, you have a much better chance of winning. And that's why Marie was so far the one progressive that's won in these primaries, because it was her second time running against Dan Lipinski in Illinois. All right, Eric Olsen, thank you for joining us, brother. Appreciate it.
Thank you very much.
Thanks for watching this free clip of the Young Turks. Don't forget to become a TYT member today. For more exclusive content, join now at tyt.com/join.